It has been more than 365 days since Spotlight on Maryland began to relentlessly seek to understand the depths of Maryland's nonprofit industry that is receiving government funding, an entire sector that makes up nearly 13% of the state's private workforce. Since the start of our investigation, the organization Maryland Nonprofits have failed to respond to our questions or interview requests, an organization that state agencies have referred us to for questions. We took questions to their office in Baltimore on Wednesday.
My name is Gary Collins. I'm with Spotlight on Maryland. I'm a journalist. I've been trying to reach you guys and wanted to see if we can go ahead and speak with somebody from your organization.
After encountering a locked door, Maryland Nonprofits said through his call box they would have to refer us to a colleague because no one here is able to speak to the press.
Nobody's able to speak to the press. We've been trying for over a year to speak with somebody from your organization.
The organization's representative, who did not consent to being recorded, asked who we try to reach out to.
I've sent phone calls, I've sent emails, and nobody has been able to contact us and speak with us.
Then after 10 seconds of silence, the call was disconnected.
Hello? Okay. Well, I guess that was that. So,
David Turner, Senior Advisor and Communications Director for Governor Westmore.
After both our team and our partners at the Baltimore Sun were told last summer that answers were forthcoming about nonprofit spending, we pressed the governor's office during an interview on New Year's Eve about this still unknown data.
Roughly 6 months ago, this office and the Maryland General Assembly didn't really know how much taxpayer money was going to nonprofits. Can you give us an idea of how much money that the state is spending on nonprofits today?
I can't tell you that figure off the top of my head. That's not necessarily something that I was prepared to answer. What I can tell you, there's a series of oversight mechanisms that go to these grant making to nonprofits to ensure that nonprofits are using their funds in the way that they are intended to be used, the way those grants were intended to be divvied out. If somebody is inappropriately using grant funding, we want to know about it, we want to investigate it thoroughly, and it should be stopped. I don't think there is any daylight in the idea that we need accountability for people who are not doing the things they say they should be doing.
We asked Baltimore City Inspector General Isabel Cumming on Wednesday if the lack of information from the governor's office concerns her.
Of course it does. It concerns me as a taxpayer. It's concerned every person. I mean, accountability is the foundation of what we do.
Cummings said she and her team have rooted out and saved city taxpayers more than $50 million from waste, fraud, and abuse within local government agencies.
Why would this be a secret? And the fact that they can't give us this type of information, that's a massive red flag.
Spotlight on Maryland obtained federal data that shows Maryland has 42,489 registered nonprofits. Baltimore City has the largest amount of registrations with 6,645 filed entities as of November. A former Maryland Budget Secretary and a Washington, D.C. think tank estimated Maryland nonprofits receive billions in taxpayer money.
We're surrounded by inspector generals, yet this state, which is, I hear, is the richest in the United States of America, doesn't have an inspector general to watch out for the public.
Coming short of calling for a statewide inspector general due to limits on her office engaging in political activities, Cummings pointed to Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. having a statewide accountability office.
The irony I hear in Minnesota was that they had tried to put an inspector general in and they voted it down. So, I mean, I think not having an independent watchdog, which is so important for taxpayers.
Despite promises from even Maryland Governor Westmore himself in August on providing details on nonprofit spending, taxpayers remain in the dark.
As the state's chief executive, do you plan to ensure that full transparency happens with nonprofit funding?
I think people know and realize that our administration believes in full transparency. That we understand that the things that we are going to support are things that are both sustainable and effective. And when you're looking at the entire budget for the state of Maryland, we are very wise and smart stewards of taxpayer dollars to make sure that the right capital is going to the right usages.
How much is the state spending on nonprofits?
In the meantime, we will continue to press for answers until we receive them on how the state is donating your money.
Hello.
In Baltimore, I'm Gary Collins with Spotlight on Maryland.
An attorney for Maryland nonprofits responded to Spotlight on Maryland late this afternoon, saying it is their privilege to serve member organizations with a wide variety of capacity building supports, including best practices for governance and management. The attorney did not immediately respond to Spotlight on Maryland's swift reply asking for another interview. If you have a story tip for our Spotlight on Maryland team, you can call 410-467-4670 or email them at spotlightonmaryland@sbgtv.com.
I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video to watch. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.